Here it comes.
Oh.
Trying to catch you slipping.
You almost caught me slipping. Things looking a little different today. The sun is in the background because this is not a normal time that we film the podcast. We usually film this thing Wednesdays at 9 o'clock at night and Sundays at 6 a.m. in the morning. But today we had a little bit of time. I think we are at episode 179. It is I, your neighborhood-friendly coach, trainer, promoter, and 44-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb. And I'm joined alongside, as always, with my podcast partner, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. How you doing today, brother? Oh
man, I'm doing good, man. Coming off of a great week, man. I just got a call from Adam, kind of out of nowhere. It was like, hey, what do you think about Carl Fredericks is going to be in town? What do you think about him coming to the school and running a training session? You know, and it was just like, I don't know, man. The last conversation with him that I had was a little awkward, so I was like, well, I don't know exactly. You know, I guess I wouldn't have expected him to want to come train. So, but Adam is the I don't know, man, the snake charmer or whatever. You know, I don't know. It's one of those things. Like as we get older in life, we have those people who are just don't want any fucking bullshit. You know, they're not into the drama. They just want to, do pro wrestling, right? It's like, I don't give a fuck about politics and all that stuff. And, you know, he's made it clear to me before, you know, like people going, oh, you know, you're back wrestling. Would you come wrestle at this promotion? And he's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'll wrestle wherever the fuck I want. Like, you know, I'm, you hear so many times where it's like, well, if you wrestle there, you can't wrestle here, you know, and Adam's that guy that's like I feel like has always been the guy that rule doesn't apply to, or he doesn't give a shit about that rule. It's like, hey, I'm going to go wrestle wherever the fuck I want. If you're not going to book me because I'm working somewhere else, that's cool. It just it frees up some time for me to work somewhere else, right? Essentially, it's your loss if you decide you're not going to book me for any ridiculous bullshit reason. So, you know, Adam, you know, talked with Carl and man, it was such a great session, man. It was, you know, Carl and I showed up first, and you know, like he had never left here, you know, like it's one of those things, and I tell him every time I talk to him just about how proud I am, and we made it clear to the students, right? This guy was going to make it, right? He already had his plan in place of what he was going to do to make it in pro wrestling, right? He came to us originally still going to University of Nevada here in Reno, and he had a plan of going to Lance Storm's wrestling school, but he wasn't going to be able to get in for, you know, 9 months or a year or something like that. So you know, I said, without being egotistical, I believe that you will be on the WWE radar if you train with us and you are dedicated to being a pro wrestler by the time you would have gotten into the Lance Storm Wrestling School. And, you know, he was telling our students that it was like, you know, he had his first match in like 4 or 5 months because that was the goal. We were trying to get this group of people to be ready for a show in November or December or whatever, and they came to us at the beginning of the college school year. You know, and at first I was like, there's no fucking way we're going to get these, you know, 6 or 8 guys ready to wrestle in 4 or 5 months, right? But we figured it out. These guys were dedicated to coming, and they came and we made it happen. But Carl was saying he had his first match, which was a battle royal. Him and I at the very end of that battle royal, with a cool little finish, and then he said he had like extra work like within a month or two after that. He's like, I had 6 matches at the time, and I was on the WWE radar. So it's like, but he had his plan already set how he was going to make it, and we're trying to use that as an example of, when you want to be a pro wrestler, you have to do all the things it takes to be a pro wrestler. You hear the saying that everyone wants to be a pro wrestler until you have to do the things it takes to become a pro wrestler. And then so many people kind of disappear. So getting to have him kind of come back, like I feel like that's the guy that put us on the map a little bit. I think, when it was, me, Adam Luster, Corey, Malachi, Chupi, all coming from this area, there was always something special about what we brought to the table, and everyone I felt like had to up their game to match what we were bringing to the table. So to kind of be able to start putting a class together that also got the same type of respect with Carl and Ryan McQueen and Steicher and Bison Braddock and all of these guys just kind of coming together at the same time, gave us another one of those classes that was very, very well respected out there in NorCal and Vegas, and all the places that Adam and Lester would take these guys on the road. They instantly got respect because of the way that they were trained and their bodies and things like that. So trying to get that across to all these guys was super important. But Carl just shared his knowledge, right? This is the guy that we know in our area that has been at the PC the most recently. So trying to give these guys some tips on what they're looking for, drills that they do at the PC, things that they like and that they don't like right now. And he goes, there's been different iterations in the time that he was there, right? They like something for a certain amount of time, then they stop liking that and they're focused on something completely different. And also understanding that, and that was not like it was an eye opener for me, but it explains when I went there and, hey, you're too heavy, you got to slim down. And then the next time I'm there, hey, you're too small, you got to bulk up, right? It's as a result of them looking for something different all the time, right? Things change. They're focused on something completely different, right? Maybe they're bringing in a bunch of established indie guys. Then it's, hey, we're going to start bringing in college athletes and we're going to try to turn them into pro wrestlers. So just the different perspective of all these different things for these guys to kind of get an idea about was really cool just to listen to. And obviously you've got Ryan McQueen showed up as well, just to hang out and talk to Carl and things like that, because I'm sure they haven't seen each other in a long time. And obviously Adam was there, and, just a big class. Illumide was there. He's got a job here in town, so he was able to make it there, and definitely impressed everyone that was watching. So just a lot of great things, man, happened this past week in training for us. So I will stop talking since I've been going for nearly 10 minutes, and maybe I'll let you get a few words in.
You're going to get off your soapbox now? You're going to what a salesman. You sold Carl. You're going to be on that radar in no time. No, that's awesome, man. One thing I really heard in there was he came and we figured it out. You know what I mean? As dirty as that sounds, right? He came and we figured it out. You talk about what Carl was saying, they were on the radar. You talked about gain weight, lose weight. you're too small, you're too ripped. Mine was go to rehab. You know what I mean? Story of my life, man. Go to rehab. But the reason WWE actually goes, all right, we're going to get those NIL athletes in here. And then they change, which everybody changes. And then they change and they go, let's get good indie wrestlers in here. Is they get the NIL athletes from college and stuff in here and they get them going with the trainers and the stuff they're doing. And then once the NIL athletes, kind of like you were saying, how am I going to get these guys ready in 4 or 5 months to wrestle? Once the NIL, the athletes, the collegiate standouts, the professionals that haven't ever thought about being a professional wrestler, having a professional wrestling career, pursuing it, then they go and they bring in the good young indie talent to come in and work with those guys. So I don't think anybody's ever really thought about that. But like from day one, I was like, well, being in the business for so long and always being a guy that I've always been asked, hey, get the world's strongest man ready in 3 months by rolling. Get this guy, do this with this guy, work with this. We're going to be working with a baseball coach. So the reason WWE does that is they're like, we need an Irish guy. Let's set up a ring in Ireland when there's Sheamus. That's the guy we need. Maybe we'll sign a couple extra off of it and bring them into the program. But, you bring in the Oba Femis, the Sol Rukas, the Tiffany Strattons, the Kalani Jordans. You bring the athletes in from the major colleges and universities and former sports stars. Evander Holyfield's son. You bring these guys in for who their parents are, the recognition, where they come from, how athletic they are and coachable they are. And then the next wave, after these guys get 5 or 6 months of training and start getting on shows, the next wave that you're going to sign are the good indie talents that's out there so that they can come in and they can work with those guys live on the NXT program. That's how you build it, man. You bring in the guys that look like The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H, and then the next thing you do is you bring in your Sami Zayns, your Kevin Owens, your CM Punks, and those guys get in the ring and start to work with them. Same reason why Roman Reigns and John Cena, we talked about on the last program, have had so many great matches. And if you look at those so many great matches that these guys have had, they're standing across from a really good guy who spent a lot of time in the indies. You know what I mean? That's why when you get a CM Punk versus a Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, it looks like really good professional wrestling because it is really good professional wrestling. So, I mean, that's the reason. They don't talk about it much, but, why they've been doing it for years, man. You know what they actually call it? They call it ham and eggers. They call it enhancement talent, man. Getting out there and being a good little hand and getting these guys over. So, yeah, that's awesome, man. I didn't know. You didn't let me know anything that was going on. And then I just saw a photo on the internet with Carl in there. And I was like, well, right on, man. Because I know you guys have been trying to I know you've been trying to get him to come back and come to training and talk to the kids and be on the show and stuff like that. So it's cool that he's back. It's cool to hear Ryan McQueen's back. I got a good little fun story in history with him that I've talked about before. It's good to see Dash Riprock on the apron, man. So a lot of stuff's happening for you guys up there, and that's awesome. And we talk about it so rare, like a first impression's everything, right? We've mentioned it before. And it's like, but there's so many different first impressions you can make. So for you guys out there, your first impression could be out of shape, you don't work hard, and you don't shut up. And then I could see you 6 months later, and you could be in shape, working your ass off, and fucking not a problem verbally. You know what I mean? Not a disruption. So don't get it in your head that, oh, that's my first impression is everything. You're going to have so many different first impressions in this business, man. And a lot of times the fact that you went and changed these problems and listened to people or fixed something about yourself is the reason why someone's gonna want to work with you down the road.
Absolutely, man. And I was so impressed with Illumide coming in, working with these, essentially we've got a bunch of guys that are super green. You've got most of these guys just started training when we had the answer the call, right? We've got a couple of guys that had been, kind of coming around for a few months before that. But I mean, these guys for the most part are all 6 months and newer. And, they're doing a lot of elementary drills. They're learning how to roll. They're learning how to get up. They're learning how to take a snap bump and things like that. And, it's just I don't know how Illumide looked at it, but it's like there's an opportunity, obviously great opportunity to learn from someone who was just at a place where he'd like to get. But at the same time, it's like we're doing lockups, right? And people are asking about, well, how long has Illumide been around? And I was like, it's been several years, right? I don't know when he first started, but he's been around for several years. And, so he's in there locking up, pushing around with some of these guys. They're working on, the proper placement of the shoulder tackle. And they're doing like super elementary drills with that, how we're going to step into each other and all these different things. It's like very elementary stuff, but man, this guy is just on board. He's just locked in, and he's out there just, being a great example, right? This guy's in great shape. He's got a great presence about him. You got people standing on the sideline like, who's that guy right there? Who is that guy? How long's he been around? This is, you got Ryan, who hasn't seen anything going on at our school in the last, 18 months or a little bit longer. And he's like, how long's this guy been training? Like he looks at Illumide and thinks this guy's one of our students. Oh, this guy's going to be good, is what he kept telling me. I was like, yeah, he's actually been around for a while. So he's been working with a lot of different people. And
6 years now, I believe.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So, but definitely it's just one of those things. Like you talk about the it factor, and it's like that guy, he looks like a star, right? It's every time we see him, we always kind of make that comment about, he shows up in a suit. He looks different from everyone else, right? He's tall, he's muscular, athletic, like just the way that he can move around in the ring is different from other people. So, and it's like, eventually that guy's going to get an opportunity. Someone's going to give him a chance to do something. And you talk about the first impression. So this is the first time a couple of, Carl and Ryan and a couple of these other guys have seen this guy, and he makes a great impression right off the bat, right? Along with some of the other students, you love to call him Garfield, but this guy just wants to get better, right? He's sending me several times a week him punching a string. He's sending me several times a week him getting up off of the floor of his house. He's sending me several times a week him emulating a lockup into the camera and pulling ahead, and just the little things that we go, hey, these are things that you guys should be working on. And it's just like when people are taking their selfie at the gym or videotaping their set at the gym. It's like, we definitely are not of the opinion, if you don't send us video, there's no, if there's no proof you didn't do it. But this guy's definitely following that type of model and going, hey, these are things that you guys mentioned that we should be working on. Here's video of me working on those things, and it's very refreshing to have someone like that constantly sending you videos. It's reinforcing the things that we're talking about during training, and knowing that this guy's taking it seriously and wanting to get better, is definitely refreshing and exciting. And that's what you want, man. You want all of your students to go home and go, that 2-hour training session, I only got, reps for a certain amount of that time. So I'm going to go home and I'm going to get reps on my own, whether that's throwing punches against a string, kicking a string, getting up off the floor correctly, locking up, whatever it is, cutting a promo, these different things. Like, it's cool to see these guys are taking it seriously, and that it's not like, you want to be a phony pro wrestler, right? This is something that they're dialed in on, and they want to get better at, and they take it seriously. So that's always cool. And it's just something that I always kind of correlate to the basketball thing, right? It's like, yeah, hey, I could work with you for 2 hours 3 times a week, but if you want to get to an elite level, you need to take the things I'm showing you during practice, and you need to go implement them on your own, right? Work on your dribbling, work on your shooting, throw passes against the wall, different things that I tell different students. It's like, you need to do these things if you really want to get good at it and you want to be passionate about getting better. So it's cool to see that that's occurring.
Well, you say, Illumide is a professional. You see a lot of good matchups. You could go Illumide versus Adam, Illumide versus Carl, Carl versus Adam. Are these just matchups, or is there somebody who's going to look into this creatively? Looking at matchups that you had. That's what I'm looking at now. You're saying all this to me, and I'm going, fuck, I don't just see some matchups. I see some matches that have a finish line, and there's a journey on the way to that destination, to that finish line. There's a story that we can tell. There's a backstory. There's promos. There's something that could lead in. So when I see talent like that sitting in there, it's like when Illumide first came here, because he debuted in PCW, it was Prospects Championship, and it was JMM, the rivalry. The video that was put together for that was fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, you can go back and you can watch it on YouTube, man. Doc Haywood, shout out to Doc Haywood for 5 years of sitting with me and making these build-up videos and all this shit. And that's where I differ from my training, I think, from anybody else. Is you said it was great to have people there, talking in the environment and stuff like that. And when I'm in training, I talk, but I'm more of a, let's get it's 6 o'clock. It's 11 a.m. Stretch out, get the fuck in the ring. Here we go. I got something for you. Let's go. And we're going to sweat our ass off for 2 hours. And that's something I've really been very serious about the last couple months. Is I'm not concerned about hearing a fucking story. And like I said, I'm just saying we see differently. I don't care where you trained at. I don't give a fuck who your coach was. It's going to help me take a look because I trust the people. But I need to see how you throw your heat. I need to see how you sell. I don't give a fuck who your trainer is. Send me a video. Send me something real quick that I can look at. I can tell what I need to see. And the thing about it is, I always look back, and we always talk about basketball. But the example is this. Michael Jordan, all we see, everybody nowadays goes, Bret Hart was amazing. Shawn Michaels was amazing. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Well, a lot of people nowadays didn't get to watch the career of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. They didn't get to watch Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. They see matches they can look up, and they see clips. You want to really watch Jordan's career? You're going to have to go back for 16 years and find all 82 games every season and watch them all 4 quarters in overtime, all his playoffs all the way through, and all his fucking finals. Because guess what? Michael Jordan, he lost a lot. He wasn't always a winner. Kobe Bryant, yeah, early on in his career, he won 4 championships in like 6 years with Shaq and Phil Jackson. But don't ever forget there was a span in LA of 7 or 8 years where fucking Kobe and the Lakers were just as bad as the Washington Wizards. Okay? That 5th championship was just one championship in 10 years that he found a way, being Kobe Bryant and the right players around him, to win. We forget the struggle. LeBron James, what about that comeback with the Heat when they beat Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili? What about Durant, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson? Like, LeBron's beat killers of teams. Jordan twice. What? Mailman and Mailman and Stockton twice. Sean Kemp and Gary Payton of the Sonics. Charles Barkley and the Suns. Like, I don't feel that those teams he beat were better than some of the teams LeBron's beaten, and that's okay. People have their own opinion, but we sit here so long and we talk about the training and we talk about the live reps and all this stuff, and it's, man, there's sometimes I feel like I'm out there and I'm doing a Make-A-Wish for a student. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, hop in and get your fucking rep. And then I got my guys, man. And here lately, about 7 or 8 guys consistently have been showing up in the hot sun on a Thursday. Sunday's big, but Thursday. And I'm watching these guys build this camaraderie, and they're tired when they get out. It's 2 straight hours. You want to go grab water real quick. There's no set water break. Oh, you're thirsty? Grab water and get the fuck back in here. Don't let me catch you on your phone. And Sunday seems to be a time where I catch the bigger the class is, the more I can be distracted, or I got to start, you know what I'm saying? It's like I told everybody for this right here, man, still got paid for the event. The marketing's going to change. This one got postponed. Still going to get paid for the next one. The Freebirds, Ubisoft Freebirds. But like I tell people all the time in these type of situations, man, this right here, a prime example of what I'm trying to say. When you're getting in there, you got time. So everybody goes, the show's at 8, and everybody goes, hey, what time's call time? And I go, 6. What? Are you kidding me? 6 o'clock? Oh, okay. 5. And then they start laughing. LOL, 5? And I go, what's the laughing for? All right, fuck you. 4. They're like, what time is call time? I'm like, 6, man. So whether it's the training or whether it's the show, and I might have lost you a little bit, so I'm gonna reel you back in, Paul. I'm gonna reel the listener back in. What I'm saying is, the more time we have, I call an early call time at some of these shows because I want to film shit, but nobody wants to get there and do their fucking job, and that's how the training is too. They show up, and everybody's cool with sitting around listening to stories, being lackadaisical. I feel that at the training, I don't think you should be sitting down. I don't think you should be leaning on a fucking rope. I do not feel that you should be doing these things in the 2 or whatever hours that you're here to get that's when we get down and dirty. That's when we sweat. That's when we make mistakes. So, and this is nothing about what's going on there with what you were talking about. I just triggered something in my head where I see so many training videos and I see guys all posing. I want to see some ripped t-shirts, man. I want to see sweat dripping off you. I want the look in your eye to be like, oh, fuck, how much more do we got to get through this? And then I want to see that look in your eye where you dig deep and realize, okay. And then when it's done, there's a sense of accomplishment. That's what I've been seeing in some of these guys, is a sense of accomplishment when it's over. Like, all right, man, let's go. I'll give you a ride home. And they're just standing there by the outside. And I'm like, you want me to drive the fucking truck up and, pick you up? I'm like, sorry, man, I'm just tired. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear, because that's all I ever heard. Training with Schizo, training with Oliver John. It's not a fucking walk in the park, man. You show up with those guys, you're gonna physically be put on the mat, and and weight's gonna be put on you. You're gonna have to get your knees back underneath you. You're gonna get these little fucking baseball things on your elbow right here. But sorry, that's my little rant about everything. I'm excited about everything that's going on, man. The fact that you had Ryan McQueen, welcome back to even looking at a wrestling ring. Love that guy. Adam Thornstowe, Carl Fredericks, Dash Riprock, and Illumide, all in one little building, one little spot in here about professional wrestling. Because I always say it. You said it before we got on this conversation. Everyone always says we're out in this little island all by ourselves out here. Reading, Red Bluff, Chico, Yuba City. We're in this little island off Cowtown, right? And I don't care if people know where Reno, Sparks, Carson City, all that shit is, state capital. You're out in the middle of basically Cowtown in the desert yourself. And we are so close and connected, and we're away from Sacramento, and we're away from the Bay Area and Southern California and all this stuff. So we are in an island all unto ourselves. So, Paul, welcome. Adam, welcome. Carl, welcome. Welcome, everybody, once again to the island of motherfucking misfit toys, right?
That's it, man. And it's obviously it takes a lot more effort and it's going to take more dedication, all these different things to make it successful when that's what you're operating with. I hear it so much, where it's like, oh, well, you're trying to book talent. It's like, well, there's only a certain amount of people in this general vicinity. It's not like when you're booking shows in Sacramento where you've got 4 or 5 different promotions and a couple training schools within a stone's throw and things like that, where you can pick from a bunch of talent. It's like, it takes a several hour drive to get someone to come here. It's not like you're just, oh, hey, I'll be there in 25 minutes or something. You're driving a couple hours to get up here. You're it doesn't really matter. Like, I was thinking about where are we going to get guys to come from? And you have people that come here from Oregon. You have people that come here from Utah. You have people that come here from California. But it's regardless, it's not a short trip for anyone to get here. So you're kind of in the same type of situation where people are going to have to make a little bit of a drive to get where you're at. And then you're okay. Well, what can I get out of this area for students, right? How can I connect with these students? And that's another struggle in itself. So, the ability to put in the work, I hope that I've learned that over time with the amount of effort that I had to put into basketball, and understanding the work ethic that it takes to do that, and trying to put that into play when it comes to getting students, getting people trained, marketing events, and and obviously we've kind of both come to that same issue this same weekend, right? Some of the marketing for different things that is not is in our hands, right? We don't get to control the marketing. Somehow it kind of goes by the wayside, gets swept under the rug a little bit. And it's like, man, well, if I was promoting this, it would be a whole lot different. So, hopefully we can right those things and get those opportunities. Obviously in your case, you've already kind of got a return date from the postponed event today. And you've made it clear that you're going to lead these people in the right direction when it comes to promoting this event and doing the things that they need to do in order to draw a big crowd. And I'm also going to do the same with the people that were supposed to be running the show yesterday. Trying to help them when it comes to this type of industry, because you think about in your situation, the baseball stadium, they probably understand how to market their own baseball games and whatever things they're doing with their baseball stadium. And for us, it's kind of the same. It's we have a guy that's running a particular type of business and trying to expand and reach a different audience. So, getting out there and trying to pinpoint that audience and get those people connected and understand that this event is happening and things like that is very important. So I think, getting that specific marketing to those people that are interested in what's going on is very important, because, just the previous Friday, there was a very similar event in Gardnerville, Minden, an hour south of here. That was a huge success. And I was there last night talking to the people that run that building and talking about wrestling, and they seemed excited about that. But, they did a great job of promoting the same type of fight night type event, and, had, well over 1,000 people. Somebody told me it was 1,000. Then last night, someone told me it was 1,600. So I don't know the exact numbers, but there was a lot of fucking people there, and it was a $25 ticket. So you figure that's a $25,000 gate or more, obviously. So definitely an opportunity to make money, and a way that you can market it. Obviously, it needs to be at the right type of venue. You need to have an idea of what the venue is going to hold. How many people can we have there? What's a good ticket price? I feel like it's a lesson in so many different things when it comes to promoting. So it's just, for us, kind of back to the drawing board with that type of promoter, and educating them on how to get wrestling fans to come, or how to get fighting fans to come watch an event. So hopefully that will be something that we've got going here in the next several months as well. And, who knows, man? Maybe it'll be in October also, just like you. Who knows?
Well, we get to the point, man, where so many people get called promoters, and so many people talk about marketing and advertising. And it's like, the promoter's job is to put the asses in the seats. The promoter's job, that's not marketing. That's advertising. That's going out. That's getting everybody on the team, knowing who that you can get in that local town that can sell some tickets, putting up the posters, passing out the flyers, putting them on the counters. Like, the marketing of this shit, marketing, man, is we're not trying to generate internet wrestling fans. We're not trying to generate crazy wrestling fans that absolutely love this. We're trying to introduce whatever town we are in to a local event that they can bring their kids out to and have a good time, that people can have an alternative from going and getting hammered drunk, doing drugs, making mistakes, whatever. We're so tied into what the marketing and the promotion of this thing is. It's like, yeah, the baseball field, thank God. Hey, thank you guys. Thanks for being upstanding and still paying the money. You know what I mean? You could have found a loophole out of that. I appreciate what you did, and I appreciate you appreciating me for putting in the work. But there is so much advertising and marketing to do. And advertising doesn't just mean pay for some Facebook, Instagram ads, okay? That's paid advertisement. There's all kinds of advertising. What can we do? Putting the ring on second base and getting it the fuck out of there before the first pitch. That's advertising. Putting our shit on the board. Getting some of these hats and jerseys on some of the wrestlers and filming a commercial. They're going to schools, going to churches, going to local events around to promote your event, to get everybody. If somebody's at a local event, even if it's a free event, if somebody's at a local event locally, there's a good chance that those people that are there are people that they are looking for something to do on the weekend. They're looking for something to do. That is the customer. That's the fan base. We're not trying to get people to come out and go, 1, 2, 2. The following contest is scheduled for one fall. One fall. This is awesome. I don't want those motherfuckers at my show. I want a general reaction from someone that is not sitting on the internet going, here's the topic. And I don't, stay where the fan goes, right? Stay where the fan goes. We talked about first impressions earlier. And the other thing that gets me is when we talk to these motherfuckers, man. You say it all the time. Don't be afraid to throw a price at somebody that what, Paul? Don't be afraid to throw a price at somebody that
is going to reflect the value that you're bringing. Like, make sure you get paid what you're worth. I think it's just one of those things. And I think that this comes back to when you have wrestlers and you're asking them if they can sell tickets to the event, right? This is something that you are passionate about, right? You're spending money to go train to be a pro wrestler because in theory, this is your dream, right? So why would you not go out to people and say, hey, I'm going to live my dream of being a pro wrestler, and this is when the event is happening. Would you like to buy a ticket to watch that? You know, you are going to get your money's worth with this $10, $15, $25, $35 ticket, right? You are going to get your money's worth. You're going to be entertained, to that value or more, right? It works the same when you're throwing out these numbers for when someone wants to put on an event. You know, you're going, what is it going to cost me to get the ring there? What is it going to cost me to get talent there? What is my time worth? What is this entertainment value worth? You know, like we get nervous to say, hey, I've got a $5,000 product that I think would benefit your business or whatever it is. And we go, hey, man, I just want to earn their business. Maybe I'll do it for $1,500 or maybe I'll do it for $2,000 or whatever. Where you are barely making money or you're losing money. Hopefully that's not the case. I was just explaining to someone the other day that someone was trying to frame doing me a favor. Hey, I was just trying to get some money in one of the boys' pocket by renting a ring from you. But the ring rental was several hours away from here. And I was like, you know, I throw out a big number because of the time and effort that it's going to take to do the ring rental. And the response I get is, oh, well, I'm not trying to buy the ring. I'm just trying to rent it. I was trying to put some money in someone's pocket. It's like, well, the amount of money that you want to pay for this ring rental is going to take money out of my pocket. You know, I would be doing you a favor of bringing this ring to you so you could do your event because you are nowhere near compensating me for what this what the ring rental is worth, right? So it's just one of those deals, man, where we have to stand on our principles and say, hey, this is the value that I'm bringing to you. This is what it costs for this, right? And maybe there's some negotiation, but at no point in time should you go, I'm going to not make much money or I'm going to lose money. There could be a good banter of explaining back and forth, like here's what I think this is worth. And then it can be, well, here's what we're doing selling wise, here's what we're doing, and this is what it's going to cost us to market the event or whatever. And maybe there's some sort of agreement that you can come to.
This is not a negotiation.
Right. But it's definitely, you shouldn't undercut yourself in hopes that you may get business in the future. Right.
Is it going to lead? Are you, if I'm going to drag my ring somewhere and I'm going to set that thing up and put something on, I sure the fuck ain't going to give them everything I got. But is it advertising for something else that I'm trying to make money off of. Okay, that's one thing. But you tell somebody 5,000 and they tell you, how about 1,000? How about 4? Okay. Have you ever, so wait a minute here. So let me ask you a question. So you've ran wrestling shows before? You've paid wrestling talent? You understand how a wrestling show works? Well, no. Well, then where the fuck did you get that number $4,000 from? Where'd you get it? You want to win the negotiation? You question the guy that tries to undercut you the first time. Because we got to pay the talent, right? 9 times out of 10, we don't even have to pay for the venue, because if we go talk to the venue, whether it's a high school gym or a church or a convention center or something else, we can probably get the damn venue, or we could probably get them to pay us to do the event there. In reality, these paid events, you know what these paid events are for me? When the baseball field wants to see what this is and let's try this out, that them paying me is so I can take half of that and go run my own shit wherever I want to run. And then I've made money on top of it, and I'm able to pay my guys. Because for the last couple of years, when we've been doing these shows for when Rick and whatever that Adam guy was doing the festivals, it's like, cool, we're in San Jose Shark Tank. Cool, we're in Golden One Center. But what we got paid to do that event, you dragging the ring that far and doing those events and the labor, and then what you get to pay your talent, it's like, nah, man, this event's going to cost $5 or $6 grand. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you $6 grand. So when you try to bitch out and talk me down to 5, that's what I originally wanted anyways, right? But if your guys are coming to work for you, giving them $50 to $75, cool, thanks for the $50, $75. But if you can get $5,000, $6,000 for the event, and these guys are like Winnemucca, fuck, man, that's a long haul. 2 nights. You're getting there on a Friday, a lot of people. So if you can get $6 to $7 grand out of this event, and you can pay everybody on your show, $300, $400 for 2 days, it's worth it to them. It's worth it. They remember those things. Shaq was just run. Shaq just ran that show up in Rio Linda, and he had a couple referees from another company and another wrestler from another company. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, did those guys? And those guys were great. They helped with the ring breakdown and everything else, and they're on time." And and he's like, "Yeah, I paid him too." And I said, "Well, how much did you pay him?" And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you this much, Zach." He told me how much he paid him, but he goes, "They told me we were overpaid, right? This is too much." What? It's too much? And then he said, they haven't got paid before. And I was like, wow, well, good job. Because you did the right thing. You could have undercut some people or found some ways to walk out of there with $500 extra, but you didn't worry about that $500 extra because you have a job and you actually paid the people out. And there's times that we're working and we're struggling and we're trying to get back on our feet, do some things. And some of the local guys say, hey, don't even sweat it. You end up buying them some dinners and stuff. Yesterday, I took Reno and his mom out, and we went to Red Robin and just have at it, man. You guys have been, I got to take Nickelberry out because it's like these guys, we've moved that ring 7 times in the last couple months. And Reno and Nickelberry are at that building, at that storage unit at 7:00, helping me load that thing. They're the day before of all these events. They're in that vehicle with me on the way there, loaded. Whatever I'm dealing with, those 2 guys are dealing with it too, right? So when you get the bread and you get fed, then the boys need to get the bread and they need to get fed. And that's one thing I said with these guys here is like, well, I'm glad it was the day before. I'm glad I was able to make a graphic and say it's postponed. You guys on your end need to say why this is happening too, so it doesn't just fall on us, because that does hurt us. We had a weekend full of wrestling shows. That's what RC told me. We had a weekend full of wrestling shows. Reno at the Brewers Cabinet, the stadium show for the Summer Classic. And then now all of a sudden we don't got nothing. So you know what I'm going to do today? I think I'm going to go wake up Reno. I just talked to Ugly for a little bit this morning. He's got a show up this way in Arbuckle. I think I'm going to head on down to Arbuckle tonight with Reno. And I'm going to watch Jalen and Shaq and hang out with the boys and enjoy my Saturday night. Because other than that, I'd just be laying on my bed in there at eporner.com, Pornhub, xnxx.com. Just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes have elapsed in this contest between what's more amazing, watching the time elapse and watch Ethan Reno and Jack Cartwheel continue to just go and go and go, or me sitting in my room on my bed all by myself in the dark with the fan blowing on me in the air conditioner. Netflix just sitting idle, but sitting idle. And Zach Reeb, Zach Primetime Reeb, or as JP calls me, Mr. Primetime. Hey, Mr. Primetime, what are you doing? I'm laying in my bed with the covers over my feet, pants around my ankles, and I'm searching for new talent. Okay, I'm talent scouting right now, and that's something I wanted to say to everybody real quick. That's something I wanted to mention, and I'll get off of my spiritual wrestling soapbox. Okay, so we talk so much about, first impressions, right? We talk about the first impressions are so important. But at the end of the day, we have to realize this, and this is the most important thing that we have to realize, man. We fail, right? Like everybody says, a second chance. I'm getting a second chance. They say you're lucky if you get 1 second chance. No, guys out there, it's not 1 second chance. You should get a second chance. You should get another chance after every risk you take, after every adventure you go after, because you're going to fail, man. You're going to fail over and over and over. And you don't just get 1 second chance. If you take a good shot at something 250 times, you should get 251 chances, second chances, because we're all going to fail. And it's what we do after we fail. We got to pick our ass back up and we got to go after it again. And we got to learn from that mistake. So none of this is a failure, man. And that's why I'm so excited to see where, just looking at who was in your building and where this place is at finally right now for you and getting to where it's at is like, it wasn't this way a little over 2 years ago, man. And to go through the harboring hell that we've gone through, to go through the people that we've lost, the people we thought were going to be around us in this business forever. And there's a lot of fucking heartache and trauma and thoughts in our head. And we just have to learn to let it go, right? And that's what these guys have to learn. Let it go, because it's not going to be easy to let this shit go at first. So, hey, buck up, get to fucking training, put in the work, and guess what? Keep doing the right shit that you're supposed to do. And there's no time frame on it, but everything is going to work out. Deal with the journey and the struggle, because the struggle, when they say the struggle is real, that statement shouldn't be like, oh man, I'm going through hardships in life. The struggle's real. No, the struggle is fucking real, because you have to go through it to get to it, motherfucker. That's right, I'm not calling you a motherfucker.
Oh, I know.
I know.
But it is definitely the journey, not the destination. That's what's I think it means so much, right? You think about, you're talking about the last 2 years, right? And the last 2 years for me specifically have definitely been, a struggle and learning experience, and finding out where, who really cares, and who's really got your back, and all those different things. And so having to go through that obviously is part of life, right? You need to go through these struggles to figure things out, and find out what you're all about, see what's inside of you as well, to see what you're made of. And I think about, I told you the other day, man, I feel like just, when you're making the right decisions, the good moral decisions, you're doing the right thing when nobody's looking. Those are the times that really define you and show you what you're all about and show you what you're capable of. And you make the great point about getting knocked down, right? You get knocked down 250 times. As long as you get up that 251st time, you have an opportunity to succeed, right? As long as you don't give up. And it's so it seems so basic and obvious, but you hear like Matt Cardona someone was like, what's the key to success in the pro wrestling business? And, it seemed like he was just goofing around and fucking off, but he says, don't quit. Right. And it seems so obvious, but it's like, how many people have we come across in our wrestling careers who could have been something if they just didn't quit? Right. It's difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. I made the statement the other day, pro wrestling is the sport of kings. It's everyone wants to be a pro wrestler until you have to do what it takes to become a pro wrestler, right? It's a grand idea. It's exciting to think about. It's easy to say, I want to be a pro wrestler, but when it comes down to doing those things, putting in the work that it's going to take to be a pro wrestler, a lot of people, the majority of the people fall off, right? They don't have what it takes. They're not willing to sacrifice what they need to sacrifice. They don't want to put in the work that they need to put in order to reach that dream or goal that they've verbally put out there. When you have to mentally and physically do the things, a lot of people are not willing to do that stuff. So just the persistence and perseverance, all those different things, man, I think is so important to getting where you want to be. And it's not just pro wrestling. Obviously, this is just in life in general. And having people around you, surrounding yourself by people who, have the same type of thought process, the same type of drive, that are willing to sacrifice just as much as you are, puts you in a way better place to succeed than surrounding yourself by people that are just going to agree with you or people that aren't going to hold you to the standard that you should be held to. So I always feel very blessed that I'm surrounded by the people that I've surrounded myself by with, recently, the guys that I can count on and I feel that are going to give me realistic feedback, right? They're not just going to say, man, you're doing so great. They're going to go, man, you're doing pretty good. But if you change this, I think you'd be doing much better, holding each other accountable for things that we should be doing. And I'll leave the last 1 minute to you, my friend.
Who said I'm not going 30 over? Who said I don't got it? And that's the big thing here, man, is when you look back at the business and you look at guys that are on TV, you look at Brian Cage, you look at Royce Keys, Powerhouse Hobbs, Thunder Rosa, Shotzi Blackheart, Titus, Starboy Charlie, Kafu back in the day, Jody Christopherson, some of these guys, man, that Tim Thatcher. I could probably just ramble some names. Jacob Fatu, I could ramble some more on. But those are guys that have gone through struggles and stuck with it and put in the work. There's a lot of consistency involved in that. Even when you look locally, you look at yourself, you look at me, you especially look at Big Ugly. You could look at Samurai and Scoot. You could look at Maynard. You could look at you look around. What's the consistency of these promoters and owners and trainers and guys that didn't take breaks, that didn't stop doing it? That's that's what keeps the wheels rolling, baby, is the guys that no matter how many people are talking shit about him, no matter Gabe Ramirez kept the needle rolling, and I want to close it on this because speaking of guys that kept the ball rolling, Kirk White was one of them. But speaking of guys that kept the ball rolling, Roland Alexander. And I just want to say from a practice I had last week in closing, I've learned so much. I learned so much from the godfather of professional wrestling. And at the end of the day, the one thing that I learned that I'm seeing in the business and he said it to me, and he was always on top of me about it, our kickouts are weak. We got to work on our fucking kickouts. So if you're out there this week, we've been telling you to punch the string. Some of you have been listening. 99% of you haven't. That's okay. Because you're the one that has to look like shit out there. And you're the one that's going to make the other guy who's expecting you to protect them and expecting you to lead them through as a good dance partner. You're the one that makes them all look like shit when you do it. Let's go. Let's work on kickouts, man. Let's get those legs up high in the air. Let's get our arms underneath us. Let's kick out. Let's kick out away from them. Let's start working on our kickouts this week. Let's sit down on our butts. Let's take a bump. Let's sit up. The guy covering needs to be aggressive, cover the shoulders. If you're laying on my fucking stomach, I can't get my arms underneath you. You're going to make my kick out look like shit. So for Ugly out there, for everybody, the guy pulling them down that's on top, let's cover the right space. Let's work with the guys so our kickouts look strong and the audience can get behind us. Hey, hit that subscribe button. What are you guys waiting for? We switched channels. Hit the damn button. Spread the damn news. Talk some shit on there if you don't like it. Do something, man. Be interactive. This is episode 179. I'm Zack Primetime Reeb. That's the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora. And guys, at the end of the day, when you're laying there alone on your bed, in the dark with the fan on, whether the AC's rocking or not, and your Netflix or Prime or whatever streaming service you has is sitting on idle, and you got that cell phone right in front of you, and you got your little piece of napkin or sock right next to you, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of me, and I want you to not do what you're thinking about doing. And I want you to hit that subscribe button because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going over.